Hello, hello. Hopefully everything should be working here. Why are you repeating? No, stop that. How's everybody doing? How's everything going? Hello, Murdoch. Hello, K-pop, and hello, Dolphin. How's everything going for you guys? I literally posted something right now and your notification appeared. Well, I'm glad the notifications are working. That's a good thing. Alright. Let's make sure these things are set up. References set up. All the things set up. Don't need that. Actually do need that. Still trying to figure things out, always. But how is everybody doing? How are things How are things going for people? Ay. Hopefully everything is going well. Let me see. I'm trying to think of like where my head is at right now. Aside from a headache out of nowhere today, I'm trying to hunt ghosts supernatural style and I'm failing at it. Oh no. Is that the game I've seen you play before? I haven't seen you play that in a while. I'm sorry about the headache though, I hope that goes away soon. Hello Matthew, how's everything going? I hope you've been well. I feel like I need to get more into the habit of writing down my thoughts because I always feel like I have things I want to talk about, and then, like, as soon as I hit live, it all just goes out the window. I don't know if any of you guys can relate to that too, but yeah, I was working on assets for the winter, so I'm excited for that. I hope you guys are going to be too. I'm not sure if I think I want that to be a surprise, so you will see in due time what those are. And I want to sort of start taking my assets in a different direction. I want to start doing so after winter holiday, I'll pretty much have all the basic big holidays done with a large thing that people can grab. But going forward, I want to make them less items, but higher quality. I hope that makes sense. So, like, instead of making, like, little tidbit things that sort of get overlooked, I want to do things that are higher quality, but less overwhelming. Because I noticed with the people who are using the assets, a lot of them really only hang on to, like, 2 to 3 items. I don't know how to predict it, but there always seem to be 2 to 3 items get used more than anything else on the sheets that I've made, or at all, really. It was weird. Like, I'm not entirely sure why, but for the Halloween one example, everybody was using the devil wings, and I'm not sure why everyone was using the devil wings, but that's the item that everybody used in that sheet. So I'm thinking of making the sheets smaller, but at a higher quality. I really want to get to a point where I'm drawing things where each item is more unique and stands out more. Also, hello John and hello Roan. How are you both doing today? Recovering from illness, but otherwise okay, and had a big headache yesterday. I'm sorry, Dolphin. I hope that you guys are all, you know, I hope that you guys all feel better soon. I'm sorry you guys aren't feeling well lately. Wonder if there's a good way to determine which one would be the user's favorite. I wish I could figure it out. I might try doing, like, polls or something. I don't entirely know what would be the best way to do that, but yeah. So I'm gonna do a big experiment for the holidays, and this is going to be, like, my last, amount where it's still a lot of things. And then I'll see what I can get from there. Rainbow Swirl, hello there! You can call me Z? Alright, Z. Hello, hello. Senpai, good morning! How are you doing? Oh my gosh. I hope everything is going well. I hope you're feeling alright. My goodness. Hello, hello. Alright, with that, I'm going to jump into the main scene here, just so we can get going on things. So, last stream, what we had done was work on this painting of Sakura Miko from Hololive. I believe she's in the 0th generation. But I'm really trying to go with a more speed paint style, trying to get things done within 1 or 2 streams. The last, we did Tokino Sora before, and that was in 1 stream, and Sakura Miko has taken 2, while I'm still trying to figure out sort of the balance between, rendering and speed. So we're still trying to get through all of that. But it's been really fun, and I'm actually really excited to finish the piece today. I think we've got most of the base down, but I was looking at other artists that I really admire on sites like Twitter and Pixiv, and I really want to try getting to the point where I can keep pushing the values, because as you can see here, like, the values between the base color of her hair and the light color of where the sun is shining is not as strong as it could be, so I actually really want to try increasing that and really pushing those values, which is really important in artwork. I like how enthusiastic you are. Thank you, Z. I really appreciate that. Helping a friend set up their chat rules right now and hanging out. Nice, Murthu. She looks so cute from where I last saw her. You did so much after I left last stream. Actually, oh yeah, Rowan, I think you left early to walk the pupper. I made sure not to touch it so that what you guys are seeing on stream is, like, you're still seeing every process. I wanted to be able to get, like, a start to finish on these. But I'm excited because I really have been enjoying this process, and I really want to continue it, going forward for a lot of other characters, a lot of other members of Hololive and Niji Sanji eventually, and maybe some people from VShoujo. I just really admire a lot of people's designs. Also, thank you, Z. I really appreciate that. Hello, Salem. How's everything going today? I hope everything is going well. So, I think, what I'll probably do is I want to finish rendering out the body I have here, and then I want to fix up a bit more of the hair and really emphasize that intensity. So, just want to go through here and fix things. Like, for example, on the hands, I just want to go and refine the fingers a little bit. I want to keep a little bit of that pink on the tips, just keeping in mind where my rendering is going to be. Who do I watch from Niji Sanji? I really like Scarlet and Shu. Yeah, I definitely like Scarlet. Who else from Niji Sanji? Nino Kosaka is really fun to watch. Who else? I really like, I haven't watched, too much, but, Ren Soto's really, really fun. And lately I've also been watching a lot of the Tempest boys from Hololive. And, I really enjoy watching Magni, because sometimes he does art streams. So it's really fun to be able to see what I can learn from that. Like, how corporate VTubers do art streams versus independent. I think it's really cool to learn from that, in that way. Let me see if I can get the fish reference here for the, taiyaki. You really like Regis? I haven't seen too much of Regis. I've mainly seen Magni and, Noir Vesper. I feel like I don't have as much time to check out full streams from the corporates as I would like to. But I really admire a lot of what they do regardless, even if I don't always have time to check out everything they do. I try to keep up for more of the main points, you know. Alright, I don't want that to look like a second pinky, so let me make sure I've actually got the... What do you call it? Make sure I've got all of her finger joints down here. It's always really hard to do a hand where you can't see the thumb and you have to work with the pinky, because you don't want the pinky to turn into another thumb. If that makes any sense, it's sort of hard to make sure that you don't accidentally do that. Oh, Regis is the first you watched from Hololive? Nice. So you're mainly a Nijisanji watcher then, it sounds like, right? I definitely want to check out more people from Nijisanji. Yeah, for me, like, so much of what I enjoy is visual and brand focused, so that's a lot of what I try to... That's mainly what I end up absorbing the most, but I really just want to also be able to keep up. Keeping up is hard. I try, though. Also, hello, Talon. I'm doing well. I loved the, I like the final result that you got on your bird self, on your Tengu self. You like the way I drew the eyes? Thank you. I'm actually really happy with the way I drew the eyes. It's kind of new for me, so I'm sort of working as I go. But I'm actually really happy with how they turned out, and I don't say that about a lot of the stuff I do, but I'm open to saying that I'm actually really happy with how the eyes turned out. Even just from the last piece I did, I'm really trying to do something that is more soft and dreamlike, and I'm hoping that's coming across. And as you can see with these paintings, I'm not being extremely critical of anatomy. Like, I'm not trying to make sure that the hands look perfect, but I really want to basically just get the message across, right? Like, speed paints are all about communicating in a quick manner. So this is going to turn into a time-lapse later, but it also is a speed paint in the sense of I'm limiting the time I spend on it. Which is why I'm hoping to be able to eventually draw a lot more corporate VTubers, is if I'm doing this speed paint style, I'll be able to draw a lot of them as time goes on. Nijisanji main? Who's your favorite in all of Nijisanji then? Oh, actually, if you're new here, Z, at some point you should check out the speed paint that I did, I posted a few weeks ago, for Halloween. I was commissioned to do a painting based on somebody's fanfiction concept of a bunch of Nijisanji characters in a haunted mansion. So I actually got to learn a lot about a lot of Nijisanji En from that project. That was really fun. I enjoyed doing that. It was so many different things going on. Even though I stayed for a short time, I had a good time here. It was nice knowing you. Gotta go since it's kinda late for me. No worries. Definitely subscribe if you haven't yet. I'd love to see you around, but with that, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your evening. I think this should be good. Again, pinkies are tricky. And Roan, you were mentioning you were working on problem chapters. What's that about? I haven't gotten a chance to read your first chapter yet, so I definitely need to get around to reading that at some point soon, before you post the second. It's like when Vesa was doing some videos and I was trying to make sure I was keeping up with the storyline. Clearly with all this talk, I'm not that great with keeping up with things. Trying. Trying, but clearly need to work on that. It's hard wanting to do content while also wanting to admire everybody else's content. Excuse me if I get a bit long-winded explaining the prom chapters, no worries. I've subscribed, you're amazing. Thank you, Z, I hope to see you around. And again, thank you, I really appreciate the sweet words. Alright. Trying to get through some of the hands here. I don't want to spend too long on this, but I just want to get it further to where we were. Try to get a few of the knuckles in here. Not the knuckle, but the, don't know what I'm saying. And grab a little bit of the dark color and kind of... That might not work best for, anime style, but we'll see. Yeah, probably just best to keep it simple. It's hard to know what to simplify and what to make accurate. That's still something that I'm working through. Like all art, there's bits that are more complicated than others and ugly stages. In a lot of books, you have at least 2 problem chapters. The first kind is the exposition chapter. You want to set up the world and make sure the reader understands, but not be boring. Yeah, I definitely understand how that could be an issue, because that's like, people just sort of want to get to the action, right? The other is, the other kind of problem chapter is the impetus of or resolution chapter. Some books have a story start from what the main characters choose to do, others from something unexpectedly happening to them. Okay. In the first case, you have to explain why the character is making the change that causes the story, and can have the same problem as the exposition chapter. Oh, I see. It gets a little too heavy, little too sort of winds through a little bit. Second case needs a resolution chapter where you see how the character has grown and coped with whatever happened they didn't plan. Ah, okay. I see. So it's a matter of, like, trying to keep things interesting while getting your point across and kind of making sure the audience knows that it's going to move forward. Impetus chapters tend to come early on, resolution chapters tend to come at the end. Yeah, that makes sense then. Oh, I don't want to get too close to how I did the charm here. That's going to be a little... I want to make sure I can still keep this within a clean finish here. Not disturbing where the charm light is. Still not feeling great about how the thumb is behaving. Trying to not make it look too awkward. Maybe there just needs to be less... Let me try slimming this down a bit. Because if the hand is a little bit more there we go. That looks better. It's so weird how just little changes can sort of change your perception of an image overall. Right? And I don't want to create a tangent with this charm here, but I just want to sort of be able to add Yeah, that might create too much of a tangent for my liking. Or maybe if I extend it further, it won't be... Yeah, that won't be as much of a problem. There we go. So you kind of get the idea that the thumb is still there, but it's not, like, intrusive in anything. And then we've got the bone of the wrist showing, which is good. So alright, we're doing well. We're moving along. We are moving along here. If you guys have any questions about the process at any time, please don't hesitate to ask. I love answering questions about the process, and I'm happy to explain anything that may need explaining. Thumbs are pesky, they are indeed, yeah. For sure. Still not sure if the lighting is the best it could be, but... Again, a big thing with the speed paints is that we improve them each time, but I'm also not spending the most amount of time making sure that every single element is accurate, because you just gotta move through. Especially in the beginning, like, it's hard to set it up while still keeping the speed paint momentum, because that is the part that takes the longest to figure out, is like where all the objects go and how to set up the pose and everything. So that's why I try to do some of that off camera, but not entirely, because I still like what you guys see in the process. I'm gonna use a softer brush here to make it less obviously painterly. Get rid of the few strokes on the hands, keep things a little softer. There we go. There we go. These hands are looking much nicer and more delicate than when we started, so that's good. I'm trying to get a bit of the trim here on her shirt. I'm trying to not rotate my canvas. I have the ability to rotate my canvas, but when I'm filming things, I learned the hard way that it's extremely distracting when sped up. Not so much the zooming, because it keeps things at a fairly even level still, but I cannot be rotating my canvas. I need to make sure that I am not getting in the habit of doing that. And it's hard not to, because it does make things flow much easier, but it will be a much better speed paint if I don't do that. I'm also just sort of still learning how to improve the speed paints overall. I think I had this as her skin, and I feel like we would see the background here. So let me try to make sure that this is still the right size, and then I think the background would show through this little crevice. Is why I like painting. It's very easy to just fix things up and paint over any mistakes you have, you know? Thank you for the save, Dolphin. I appreciate that. The book I'm currently working on has both the exposition and impetus bits, all happening in Chapter 2, or at least some of the setup, so it's been taxing. Ooh, okay, yeah, that sounds intense. That sounds like a lot of detail to try to squeeze in. Trying to squeeze in at once with, and still hold it all together. I can see how that would be pretty tricky, yeah. Oh my gosh, I am trying to do my best to not rotate things because my wrist just naturally wants to be able to move this in a more comfortable position if I'm doing an arc like this. I used to, I don't know why, I've just always turned any kind of paper that I'm working with when I do this. So I've actually been, I've actually had people who have been worried that it would look like I was cheating, because I also do this when I write on a sheet of paper. I turn everything just to be more comfortable to where my wrist is. And I have my paper sideways. So, like, you know, in a classroom setting, it looks like I'm trying to let someone see my answers or something. But I'm not, it's just the way I write. So to not rotate the canvas when I know I have the ability is a bit hard. But yeah, I try to make that hit the light a little bit. That's good. Yeah, it just makes things look shifty, I guess. Good thing about the problem chapter happening now is that once I push through, the rest will be easier. That's good. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah. If you sort of know, like, where your biggest hurdle is gonna be, then you can sort of relax once you get through that. I totally understand that. For me with drawing, that's the line art stage. That's like, I know I have to get through this, and then it will be smooth sailing once I can just start working on the color. And I think that that is also one of the reasons why I prefer to paint, because there's not really a line art stage. How does her... I'm trying to figure out how the trim on her shirt works. I can't tell if it's regular lace or if they're supposed to look like petals. I think they're petal-shaped, in a way. Subtly, but I don't think it's how I would normally draw lace. I think they're sort of half petal-shaped. It looks like it's more simplified in her 3D. Just see if I can get the, see if I can get a bit of the highlight showing and refine a bit of the shape here to look a little bit nicer. That'll work well. And then I want to start moving forward so that I'm not getting stuck in one area, because that is definitely what can end up happening, is you get too comfortable just casually painting, because it's a very, you know, for a lot of artists, it's a very meditative process to be painting and rendering like this, in the same way that, like, if anyone does model painting, there's a very therapeutic side to it. So I want to make sure that I keep moving and not start getting too into the zone, as it were. Biggest book killer for me is getting hung up on the perfection in the first draft, which means you'll never actually finish. Better to edit after draft 1. Oh, yeah. Again, you know what? It's so funny to me, when you're talking about the struggles that you're having with the writing, is that pretty much every one of these points has a parallel with visual art, you know? And, I mean, you're also a visual artist, so I know that you can probably recognize a lot of it. Is that ever interesting, where you sort of notice that the same problems are occurring in both mediums? Alright, I'm gonna try to use a slightly shaded pink, because I can't tell if these are supposed to be petals or if it's supposed to be just lace, but I don't know, I kind of like the idea. even if it's not that way. It also goes with her theme, so, you know, it works out. Works out either way. Just want to make sure that I'm not being crazy with the light here. Make sure that it actually all makes sense. And this is going to be a little bit of a desaturated shadow color. Or maybe a little brighter and a little more saturated. There we go. And I want to do it very lightly, just to establish shape. Just because there would be a shadow there, and this could actually probably be a little bit darker. Maybe a little bit of an in-between. Try to sort of blend that together. Yeah, that's good. And I want to use some darker colors to sort of paint in the line art, as we were talking about earlier. You're not really focused on making perfect lines, but kind of painting it through as you go. Which, I don't know, to me that just, that works. It works nicely. And we can start refining a bit of the sleeve here. I think we're making okay time, but I do want to make sure that I am paying attention. And not getting too lost in the sauce. Writing visual arts are very similar in the process of creativity. I can feel the same bits of my brain lighting up whichever I'm doing. Problem solving tends to be the same too. Just like needing to know your skeleton and basic shapes in painting, books need a structure too, and if you get the structure wrong in the planning stage, it shows in the final product. Ooh, I can imagine. Especially, like, I know that people can be very critical of plot lines, so I can imagine. I can imagine that if it's not flowing correctly. And even though I added all this texture in the lines, I'm still pretty much erasing them. Oh well. Don't mind me mostly lurking thanks to Mammoth Mountain. Yeah. No worries, Murdoch. It's all good. I'm just sort of trying to keep refining a little bit. Keep it easier to read. If I wanted to do pure realism, then I just wouldn't be using line art at all. I would just be painting to the edge and using the difference of light and shadow to emphasize where the lines are, but I prefer things a little bit more stylized. And now, how are we going to tackle this bow? I know how to paint bows, but they can be a little bit of a... Oh, they simplify this pretty heavily, so that's not too bad. I have a friend that uses a bow in fashion work, and they constantly basically hit me over the head metaphorically with how no one draws bows correctly because of how they actually have to function. you ever find gaping plot holes in something, it's usually because there wasn't planning done before starting, which can be fine for some books, especially for young adult, not for others. Plot holes in Harry Potter? Fine. It's a fantasy novel for young readers. Plot holes in a hard sci-fi novel with lots of science, really noticeable. I can imagine, especially with sci-fi, that would be more of a problem. I mean, Murdoch, correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't Star Trek goes really hard in their research, right? Or did they, how did they handle it? I mean, I kind of get the feeling they don't explain things away. I feel like they have a lot of good structure, but that might just be my outside interpretation of it. Because as a very non-science-based box, I wouldn't really know what to look for in the beginning. Or not in the beginning, but in general, I mean. Also, hello Kitsu, how's everything going? Let me start putting in some stronger highlights on the bow and everything. There we go. That's better. Star Trek's been very clever with their use of language. They conceptualize something we aren't supposed to understand, then give it a simplified explanation. That way they don't actually have to explain the science that doesn't exist yet. It gives the impression of neat, tight, hard science, but they do also do tons of research and extrapolation. Oh, interesting. Nice. Let me make sure that this bow is correct. It's gonna have some indentation here to actually really... Yeah, this is definitely not how a bow would actually work, but that's okay. It's fun. Ah! Make sure I'm keeping everything neat and tidy here. I think it's kind of amusing how I don't really know too much about Star Trek or Star Wars. But somehow my life has brought me to meeting a ton of people who are into both of those. Or ending up doing that kind of stuff for work, and it's kind of interesting how it's like never been on my radar. And now I'm like I feel surrounded by people who are very, very heavily into it. It's weird how that works, but it's fun. If that's what Star Trek is, maybe I should watch more of the stuff. Barely conceivable stuff is interesting to me. I feel like I shouldn't talk too much about it when Murdoch is not around. That almost feels like sacrilegious. Definitely want to give him a chance to explain anything he wants, but I know he's busy right now, so Something like that is probably good. Again, doesn't need to be perfect, just want to get the idea down. I am still learning what is best to simplify and what is best to bother adding detail to. That is something that I am still working on figuring out for the most part. Everything's a balance, but it's hard to figure out the balance if you don't yet know where to look. It's interesting to figure out, though. I grew up in the era of Riker's beard, the most important Star Trek character. Had a busy and lazy morning. Wait, how do you have both a busy and lazy morning? Isn't that an oxymoron? How does that work? How can you have... No, I don't quite get that. How can it be both busy and lazy? That doesn't make sense. You're either being more productive than you know, or less productive than you... I'm confused. I'm gonna lean towards more productive. Obviously, I can't know for sure, but if it's busy, then it must be busy because you're doing things. That would make sense, right? You tell me if I'm crazy, chat. I take that you're more of a fan of soft world building that has more fantasy elements in it. Well, I suppose so? I'm just biased towards fantasy for obvious reasons. But... in storytelling? I mean... I don't know. Most of my magic isn't really explained, so I think most magic systems don't really need to have, like, a hard science to them. I've seen people try to explain, like, the magic system for, various franchises, and it's, like, you know, I'm kind of fine with it just doing what it wants, in a way. But I know that that's not the most popular opinion. But I also know that I like a lot of things that are not considered strong, so, you know, take what I like with a grain of salt, I suppose. I am much more based on emotion than I am on logistics. Or logical fallacies, I suppose? I'm not actually sure what the name would be. But, yeah, for me, emotion is, stronger. I will overlook a lot if it'll tug at my heartstrings. Murdoch will know so much more than me. I have a great respect for the dialogue in the good series of Star Trek. Clever writing can do so much. That's true, yeah. I think I might have got... You did hacks, but in the most minimum way possible. They say a lazy person will find a way to make a job easier. That's true, yeah. Yeah, there's definitely a benefit to that. You know, don't, I don't know, there's a lot of sayings we could use for that, but don't reinvent the wheel. All that kind of stuff. Yeah, if you're lazy and inventive, that's always a good thing. I mean, as long as you get the invention off the ground. You have to be not lazy enough to actually put the invention into motion. Trying to get a little bit of the... a little bit of the thickness of the ribbon here. I'm really glad that I switched away from having my anthropa on the screen, because I feel like you guys can see what I'm doing a lot easier now. Because I'm just thinking about how much I'd be covering up otherwise here. I'm also going to try to see if I can do a speed paint while holding on to the crystal point still being there. I'm not really sure if it'll work. It's gonna be an experiment. It may or may not. We'll find out. Couldn't sleep well, had to get breakfast and clean dishes. Currently waiting for a clothes wash, then bed to wash. And I don't know what to do that's productive. I mean, it sounds like, you know, if you're cleaning dishes, if you're figuring things out, I think that there's still, I think there's still productivity in that. But if you're waiting for things like, you know, clothes and such, then you can start something and then just move around. I don't know. I get it. It's hard when it's like, it's not enough time to get anything done, but it's also too much time to feel like you're wasting it. I understand that. I need to finish my Meaning of Power trilogy and inflict it on you. Someone needs to be happy, sad at the ending. Oh no! Oh boy. I would be willing. I would be willing at least. Hello, Vessa? Why are you sorry? What? No reason to be sorry. How's everything going? I hope everything's going well. Also, hello, Glaceon. Why do you call me a human? I am confused. Cyndaquil? Oh boy. It's probably not gonna be as good because I haven't had nearly as much practice with it. I'll do my best, but... That's probably not nearly as good. Cyndaquil's a tricky one. Cyndaquil goes a little, a little too high. That's why I was apologizing. I was going to break the chain. Diabetes are how sweet that was. No. What is this supposed to... Is this... How does this tie? Is it, like... looser? I suppose? Then what am I? I'm a fox. I have a humanoid form, but I can also present myself in a much more typically animal-looking form. Oh, also I didn't realize that you were shiny. I only read the Glaceon part. I didn't read the shiny part. But hopefully everything is going well. Hello, hello. Wait a minute, this is still Miko? Yeah, I'm still finishing off Miko. We spent too long on it last time. So, I'm hoping to finish it today. Wait, isn't that the stream title? Isn't that the stream title, Finishing Miko? I'm pretty sure I changed the stream title. Didn't I? Alright, I probably am spending too much time in this area, so... But yeah, we can at least see that where we're trying to get here. I don't pay attention to titles. I see a Hololive, I click. Oh my gosh. Alright. I think we established the shading of the bow last time, so I should be able to get this done faster. Just wanna... The problem with my experimentation is that I end up setting a precedence for how detailed things should be. Like, I can't just change how detailed the face is now to the rest of the body. But I do want to try at some point, like, probably not with one of the corporate VTubers, because I really want that to be nice enough, I suppose. I don't know. A lot of it is still experimentation. But I want to try doing, paintings at some point that are, like, really loose, that instead of technique, are more based on emotion. And I don't know when I'll get a chance to try that, but it was something I was thinking about recently. And I think I need to, I probably need a little bit more practice with anatomy to make it work nicely, but I want to try some pieces that are really just very strong in emotion, color, and movement, and I usually don't do that. I usually like doing things that are very neat and tidy, but I don't know. Sometimes I see, sometimes I talk to different people, and I know that I'll probably never be able to do work for them, but I just sort of see, like, flashes of, this could be really cool. This could be really impactful. So I might want to try that at some point. Even if it doesn't turn out good, I suppose. I've been looking at other artists lately who I feel like are really good at that feeling. Or at least they give the illusion that that's what it is. So I've been wanting to try something out. Instead of technique, more based on emotion? So basically, like, it's kind of funny because I'm definitely not, I will, honest hot take, I'm personally not a fan of artists like Pollock. But there is definitely a energy to throwing paint on the floor. But I want to try and get a bit of that in the movement that a very action-based character might have, let's say. So it's not going to work for, like, a slice-of-life type character, but let's say there's somebody who works with different elements or weaponry or something like that. I would want to do something where maybe it's not necessarily as accurate as it could be, and it might get better over time, but just sort of really focusing on the raw emotion of that character in that scene. Rougher and more zoomy? Wait, now I have to ask you, what do you mean by more zoomy? Or you mean zoomy in movement? Yeah, I suppose so. Sorry, you said zoomy, and my immediate thought was like zooming in and out of the canvas. Which is clearly, my guess is not what you meant. Zoomy is zoomy. It is go! Yeah, I want to do stuff that is more like that. So the thing is, like, with a lot of characters, you have to be very accurate to their design, right? Like, I'm trying to make sure that Miko's bow looks the way it's supposed to. But I was noticing that I was doing a Bakadoodle yesterday, and it's like probably one of the last few times I will do a Bakadoodle until I can take commissions for it. And they're generally very silly, fast concepts. And one thing I realized is that I don't necessarily get perfect accuracy on people's designs, let's say. But the message is there and you get the humor from it. So I've been thinking lately, what if I do something where I'm not necessarily capturing the exact design, but the message is there and I'm getting the action from it? I don't know, I don't know if that makes any sense. And then it's sort of a matter of, like, you know, the longer you spend on it, the more action it'll have. But in the beginning, it's like, you can have something that's just very, very raw and rough. And I'd have to experiment with it to see if it's good enough that it would be something that anyone would be interested in seeing. But stream-wise, I think that there could be a lot of movement in it. Keep moving things around, keep going crazy with it. I don't know. Just weird thoughts that have been in my head lately. Among 100,000 others. Trying to not turn the canvas. Trying to not turn the canvas so it'll look better. Look better on a speed paint. I'm experimenting with a lot of things lately. I've been trying to experiment with speed paints, you guys have probably seen on the YouTube channel. I've been trying to figure out how to sort of make different quality work. Experimenting with these speed paints of the Hololive members. There's just a lot that I've been playing around with recently. And a lot more that I want to continue playing around with, frankly. Emotive stuff can be very cool when it isn't done for pure pretension's sake. I'd love to see something like that from you. What do you mean when you say pretension's sake? Also, hello again, Glaceon. Will you do speed paint and lore sometime? Also, today's my birthday. Well, happy birthday! Happy birthday! That's super fun. Are you gonna do anything fun for your birthday? Also, what do you mean by speed paint and lore? Can you expand upon that a bit? Bakadoodle, the GF cat or something else. The piece I posted, yesterday, later last night. I was trying to quickly draw a purple dragon and making sure that I got all of their design elements as accurate as I could. Glaceon, thank you very much for subscribing on YouTube. Thank you, thank you. I really, really appreciate it. I really want to try growing the channel more, so I really appreciate it. Thank you. Alright, I'm doing my best to try to clean up the edges here. And I want to make sure that I also don't forgo where different parts of the shadow would be, right? We don't want to overlook that necessarily, even if it might be a little hard to see at certain points. Okay, real quick, like, an example of what I mean when I say fast is, do you see how when I'm adding the shadow right here, I'm adding it with a thick brush, so it's kind of going over this part of the trim, but I have to match it closer to the trim so that it's actually accurate, and then I would add a darker color here for where the red would be, for example. Like, that's how it would be in real life, right? But if I just left it like that, just to quickly keep moving, that's kind of what I'm talking about. So I'd be spending less time on each individual, getting each individual point perfect. And just keep moving so that there is a motion to it. I should do speed paints of my own lore, like the Draw My Life meme. Weren't those mainly, like, were they actually drawn, or were they, like, made to look like they were drawn? Because I think in the beginning they were actually drawn, but later on they sort of tried to find a way to automate the process, I think. I actually do want to, eventually retell my lore a bit, because I feel like I did it in a very sloppy way before, and I also haven't explained, the whole demi-human thing. So eventually I want to do that. I was actually planning to when I debuted with my demi-human look, but time was not on my side to visually tell that story. Maybe in the future, though. I mean, the kind of art that's like gluing a banana to a piece of board to represent— oh, I see. Yeah. The artist is more concerned with being pretentious than engaging the audience. I see what you're saying. Yeah, I'm not really a fan of those either. Like, I went to school with fine artists, and I didn't understand most of their work, because they always had the attitude of what they were doing was smarter than most people could comprehend. So it was, yeah, it wasn't the most, not the most fun. No, my whole thing is on the visuals itself. I am not as big into, like, the hidden message of something. I'm very much an illustrator for that purpose, right? I mean, that is the point of illustration. I'm very much into what the actual thing looks like. Which is why I haven't experimented with something where I don't refine a process, but I've seen other artists do it where it's very well done. You basically make an art piece and then add lore to it. Pretty simple. Also, I'll watch the alright. Yeah, no worries, Glaceon. Oh, yeah, so, no, I'm not trying to ignore. I'm not the fastest with catching up with chat, because most of the time I'm staring at the canvas. So I apologize if I am not the quickest in that regard. I just saw Donkey's Draw My Life video where he made stick figures. Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, it was— were they like one of the name sounds familiar, but I can't quite remember. where else is there like she has like a stitching on one side of her shirt. I don't quite understand this, but I'll go with what I'm seeing. It's only on one. Oh! It crosses over, duh. I should understand that. I should understand how that works. I didn't realize that this was another layer going over the top. I didn't realize it was crossing over. That should have been obvious to me. And then I want to sort of add the lighter part here, like I did with the ribbon. And keep it a little bit more on the orange side, so it's catching the light. That's good, and then a little bit on the side. There we go. Okay, that makes more sense. I was getting confused for a second there. I think it makes sense there. I'm gonna have to keep moving through this piece. I want to be able to still continue with the fish and everything, and then I do want to still spend some time going back to the hair because I know I can make that look better. And then this charm here, it's kind of two ribbons that go across. If your art is so smart, people don't get it, then you failed. The point of art is expressing things to others, whatever that might be. If your expression is completely missed, it needs work. Yeah, that... I agree with you, but you'd be surprised how many fine artists don't. It's like, I don't know, I can't speak for other fine artists, obviously, because I'm not one. So this is purely from my perspective only, but the perspective I get is there's almost like a... how do I say this nicely? There's almost a pride if other people can't get it, I suppose. It's like it seems to like what's the word? Confirm their intelligence, I suppose. And again, I'm not a fine artist. I can't speak for other fine artists. This is just purely from what I have noticed. In my field, anyway. Working with different people. I am trying to be careful with how I say that. Fine artists like to throw in Easter eggs and expect you to somehow read between the lines. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's just, it's personally not my cup of tea. I like things that you get and it moves you. And mainly from like a visual perspective. I mean, I'm doing these really cute fun paintings at the moment. And I don't know if I'm going to be, when I will be able to be, have the confidence to do it on stream. But I do want to get to the point where some of my work is like much deeper, closer to the, closer in emotion to like the studies we've done of the Symphony Miko pieces. Things with really dramatic lighting and really, I don't know how to explain it, but just sort of things that have a quality to them that feels very story-driven in kind of a fairy tale way, I suppose. That's personally the side of art that I enjoy. And I have a very strong emotional feeling to that kind of thing. So eventually want to work with that way. That is probably the reason I was never going to be fit for surface pattern design, because a lot of it is very, very cute. But it kind of just doesn't go as far beyond it's really cute. Which is fine. I mean, we all really need cute, fun, happy things. But I think that's why I like the stuff I'm working on now. There's more story to it. And elitism as you may. Yeah, there you go. That's where the word pretension comes in. It's probably why I wasn't allowed to pursue art in school. I've always been outspoken on my opinions. I don't mind digging a little deep for some lore and stuff. Cough cough Souls games. But the stuff that is super weird and esoteric is usually more frustrating than enjoyable. I haven't played Souls games, but I feel like that is the kind of stuff where it's fun to get deeper into it. Like, I think I get what you're saying. I haven't played a Souls game, but I really do like deep storylines that aren't basically just built in symbolism or imagined symbolism, I suppose. Yeah, I don't know. It just seems like there's a lot of times where there's, you know, fine art things where, like Rowan was saying, they say that it represents this thing, but they don't really have much of a correlation. Or as opposed to something like, in certain games, there could be symbolism that you might not catch at first, but then it's like, oh, I can definitely see how this relates. I can definitely see where the connection is, and now that I've noticed it, I see how much deeper it goes. I guess that would be the difference between, like, personal and universal symbolism. I don't know, I feel like we're getting really esoteric now. I'm trying to add this shadow that doesn't make it too dark. And there's sort of individual stems here for the charms. And we'll get the yellow spots back in there. There we go. Might be able to see a tiny bit of it here, but not too much. So I'll just sort of throw that in very briefly here. There we go. And then it's definitely a darker shade of a more red tint, I would say. Especially where the shadow is. Maybe I just shouldn't be too worried about how thick the line art looks and just sort of embrace the contrast that it gives. Because that does help. We do like the contrast. And then the tassels here, there's also a bead on the... Oh, I'm actually gonna narrow this down a little bit for the bead. There's also a bead here on the end of both tassels. Did I mess up this petal? A little bit. That's okay, though. Alright, let me catch up on chat in just a sec. Hang on. I think I moved this way too far over. Give me a sec, I got a little lost. Got a little bit lost here. A little bit lost in the sauce. Where does that phrase even come from? Does anyone know? I don't even know where I first heard that. Alright, that's better. What I don't like about some fine art, they think that other forms of art is not art, like anime, for example, which is pretty close-minded. Yeah, for sure. There's, I think that's definitely a mindset that's changing recently, but certainly not when I was in art school. Yeah, there's a lot of the not real art mindset, but other things that you would think would fall into that same category wouldn't be included, and were, more acceptable, so I don't know. I'm glad that whole thing is kind of dying out now. I mean, slowly but surely. It's taken a long time, but it's still got a long way to go, I think, too. I think the word you want is evocative. Art pieces that connect with people and make them think and see things and emotions. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Roan. That's a good. I need. Roan, I'm gonna need you for like good vocabulary help. As a writer, you can probably articulate my feelings better than I can. With Souls games, the hidden lore is part of the gameplay loop. It's like solving a mystery. It's designed to be engaging and not an afterthought. Finding Souls lore is fun. Ooh, that sounds interesting. I bought the first Souls for $3 and just gave up on it, too difficult. I mean, isn't it considered one of the hardest franchises in gaming? So, I don't blame you. Je ne sais pas quoi? What? Sorry, Dolphin, what? I don't know what that means. I managed to finish all the laundry when we had that nice deep convo. Lost in the Sauce comes from the rapper Gucci Mane. Oh, interesting. Okay. I didn't know that. I don't know. You know what? That's probably something I picked up from art school, honestly, if I had to guess. I think I get a feeling I have an inkling of, like, what other person I would have gotten that from. Yeah, okay. If that's the case, I think I picked that up in art school. Is the blue square on white canvas real art? I had a teacher that would swear up and down that it was like the highest form of art, and said that if there was an art museum near our school, and they said that if the museum burned down, they would save the Mondrians first. So, yeah, to each their own, I suppose. I respect people who just want to draw cute anime girls more than artists who staple banana to a wall. Hey, I mean, there's fundamentals being used here, you know? Light, shadow, composition. But then again, even the fundamentals are considered controversial to some people, so, you know, throw my hands up in the air on that one. Alright, I think we are making good time, but I do still need to speed up a bit. Because we've got, like, this whole half done, basically, which I think is good so far. Also, hello, Steve. Sorry, I'm being a little slow on chat today, just sort of focusing on rendering more. I can do the word things. I know many words. I have a piece of paper to prove it. Art school sounds like it was such a bad influence on you. Yeah, I don't know. These days, I feel like I might have been stronger without, but I also probably wouldn't have had the, I think what art school taught me most was probably connections and determination. Or, not determination. How do I say this? Art school taught me to suffer. But in a good way? Like, what do you call discipline? Wow, I really do need to run for words. Art school taught me discipline. Art school definitely taught me the discipline of how to keep going with your work. I got to see Salvador Dali's work alongside Picasso's when I was young. I think it affected my opinion on art. The pros respect the fundamentals. That's what Bobby Chu said in one of his Chu streams. There you go, yeah. You know, that's interesting that you mentioned that, Talon, because Bobby Chu is sort of the person who was, like, my first gateway into learning everything that I missed. Because there was so much of, like, for example, what I did a lot of graphic design. I had the fine art students who weren't really doing fine art. They were more doing the symbolic stuff. And then Bobby Chu kind of, like, brought me back down to Terra, as weird as that sounds, and sort of showed me, like, what real art fundamentals are supposed to be. So, like, I wouldn't say I regret my experience in art school, but I would say that nowadays, there's, on a technical side, there's so many more resources than there used to be. But discipline-wise, I think that the physical establishment still, has a bit of an advantage there. Also just, like, you know, socially, learning to survive. That's always a useful thing. It's probably something that I personally needed to benefit from. Also, it's where I got my, well, the school didn't do much, but it helped me get my foot in the door, so to speak. But not the school itself, just the experience of going through... how do I explain it? Not so much the school itself, but the things within the area that helped out, I think is the best way to say it. Also, hello! Hello, Churros, how's everything going? I am afraid to say more for fear of stirring up controversies. But yeah, if you guys really want to, like, figure out your fundamentals and have a really good grasp on where to start going with things, definitely check out Bobby Chu. Bobby Chu is a fantastic man who has done so much for the art community. He focuses more on things like in the entertainment industry, so like movies and games within the West Coast of North America, but he offers a lot of very valuable insight, and he has some amazing talks as well. He interviews a lot of people in the industry, and the interviews can be really good, like to hear where each person came from and such. Here's a fun question. Would you recommend current younger artists go to art school or study, practice, make connections on their own online and locally? Yeah, it's really hard for me to give like a 100% yes or no on that. It really is. Some people who go to art school say it was not worth my time, I don't recommend it to anyone, blah 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 blah. I personally don't think I can say something that strongly. I think that there were probably things that I might even be overlooking as well, or that I don't know came from that experience. Cost-wise, I would say definitely try to find something cheaper. But experience-wise, I don't know. I honestly think that's a bit of a hard one. I think that there are so many more resources out there now than there used to be. So many more, like infinitely more, really. And, you know, there's some people who do, like, online art schools. I haven't taken any of those, but, they seem to cover, like, all the real basics that you need on the technical side. Which is really the important part, right? Is learning those technical abilities. But yeah, that's kind of a hard one. I don't think I can necessarily give, like, a flat yes or no on that. Sometimes the best thing higher education teaches is what you don't want to do. Oh, Rome, that is a really good point. Also, let me just make sure I'm catching up with chat, because I definitely want to touch on that. What you don't want to do, it's really funny that you say that, because I actually did have instances that got me to experiment with animation, because I thought I wanted to be an animator. I thought that in order to do things with characters, all of it had to be in animation. And I didn't even know that illustration was a thing back then. Like, you know that there's drawing, and you know that there are making paintings, but the form of a career in illustration was not actually something that was explained at first. So, Tricky, thank you so much for subscribing on YouTube. I really appreciate it. It wasn't something that was necessarily taught as a possibility, because that entire industry, frankly, is very new. The idea of concept art as a job in itself is very new. A lot of people actually don't know about it. A lot of art schools don't even know about it. A lot of art schools are not aware of the concept of concept art. So I thought that I actually wanted to go into animation. And when we started doing the frame-by-frame stuff, I realized it's really not something that I have enough of a passion for to be doing full-time. But we had to do something where we do a quote-unquote... This was sort of, this was before art school, frankly. We had to do something that was quote-unquote a major and a quote-unquote minor. Not actually, just for that time period. So I majored, again, air quotes, in animation and minored in illustration. I ended up loving illustration about 500 times more, and decided that that was the direction I wanted to go in. But I wouldn't have realized it if I hadn't had that experience, and I probably still would have been trying to suffer with animation. Could've just said Hollywood, I guess so, yeah. Grendel, thank you so much for resubscribing, I really appreciate it. Also, hello! Hello, hello, how's everything been going for you? Make sure I've got all my screens up here. Zooming through art sites. Ooh, what kind? A lot of people go to school and don't get the dream job? Yeah, that's another thing you realize, is like, it's not really a guarantee of anything. Because, you know, as they say, your portfolio is really what matters the most, and it's very true. Your portfolio is pretty much what's going to determine everything. I know my question sounded redundant, but I did ask it before you said the other thing. You know, no worries, it's all good. Hello, hello? Kind of on the same boat. I wanted to be a game designer, but little that I know, the role of game designer is a very broad role in game dev in a company, so I decided I'd strive to go with indie game dev instead. Oh, nice. Yeah, you get to wear more hats, but you get more control. When Aiden was in college with his friend Nate, they did the same course. For Nate, it was perfect, and he found his dream job at the end working in games. But Aiden hated it and knew it wasn't for him, and used his degree to enter the military. Yeah, every person has their own path, for sure, for sure. Was down in Magic the Gathering card playing. Nice. What kind of school were we talking about? In my case, I'm talking about art school. Sometimes finding out what you don't like helps as much as successes. Yeah, absolutely. I saw a video from Duchess Celestia about art school, and it was pretty good, from the perspective of a friend who taught in one. Huh. Yeah, I think it just really depends on who you are. And it's hard to know ahead of time, which is, you know, a little tricky and frustrating, but I think it's just very dependent. I think for some people it makes a lot of sense, and for some people it doesn't. Again, for me, I think a big part of it was discipline, and also forcing myself to branch out. Because when you're in an art school, you don't get to draw what you want at all. Do you guys think that when I was in art school, I was drawing cute anime girls the whole time? Because no, not in the slightest. Was I even drawing the whole time? Also no. When you go to a full art school, they make you try everything. And yeah, you have your major, but in the beginning, you're not even touching that. So, I've worked with many tools and things that I never would have, and some of it was extremely useful and helped me see things in my drawing, and other things were not so useful. But it was good to have the experience. I can tell that I'm sort of, getting a bit lost in here, so I need to make sure that I speed up the rendering a little bit. Getting to wear more hats, Team Fortress 2 intensifies. There's a throwback. Theoretical point of the art school is to give you the skill, but it's not guaranteed you learn the skill, and you can get the skill outside of art school, no? Yeah, absolutely. On the technical aspect. You see, when I say about, like, if art school is for other people, I have to consider everything outside the technical. Because if we're just talking about pure technical, then I would say there's a ton of resources nowadays. if you just want to focus on the technical, there's a lot out there. You can learn without art school. You didn't used to be able to, but now you can. So that's what I'm basing everything on for my own outlook on stuff. No animus in school. Band drummer is a successful sound engineer. He's a sound engineer college dropout, but has a great portfolio. The portfolio is the most important part, honestly. It would be dumb assignments in a manner the professor expects you to do. Yeah, every professor thinks that their way of making things is best, so... yeah. Love to wear more hats? There you go. My college didn't teach game dev, but taught 3D art and animation. Pretty simple, but did not learn everything, just less than the basics. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, game dev and concept art are in the same vein of sort of being, like, new things that a lot of schools don't know about. So, a lot of that, you kind of have to get online these days. I think more schools are slowly learning about it, but it takes a while for them to catch up. I actually had to teach my school a lot about that kind of stuff. Because they thought that I was, they had no idea what it was that I was actually trying to do. Did I have to draw lots of fruits and bowls? Actually, no. I did not. It was outside of drawing entirely. I had to do a lot of weird things in 3D. As for the sites, because all the artists are on Twitter potentially, leaving Twitter, I think a lot of people are gonna stay, honestly. That's just my opinion. But yeah, I know people have been talking about moving to different sites and such. I thought of expanding my art reach to other sites like Insta, DeviantArt, Pixiv, Tumblr, Foreo? I've never heard of that one. Behance and Fiverr for emotes. Makes me realize I need more personal art in the various art styles and get more ideas from shorts and TikToks. There you go, yeah. I definitely think it's good to branch out. It's definitely good to get your name out as much as you can. I will probably do the same. I've been neglecting Instagram very badly. So I need to start posting on there again for sure. I don't know, Twitter's just easier to post on, so I get tied up in that. But yeah, oh my gosh, I've neglected my Instagram so badly. Trying to not turn the canvas. Heard y'all talking game dev. I was constantly flirting with indie game dev myself, but focusing on others. Yeah, I mean, it's normal to sort of flip-flop there. That right there, that response why I never bother with post-secondary. Different things for different people, I suppose. When I told people I wanted to go to art school, were they supportive? Yeah, yes. I would say yes. I would say that they were, and I would say that they were because one of them wasn't allowed to. So that sort of changed the game a lot. It was sort of a matter of I couldn't, so you can. But I don't think anyone was expecting the anime style for sure. That was not on the table. That was very much not a thing to even, that was like something that was not serious, but I think it's become a lot more serious because of VTubing, and that's one of the reasons that I'm more grateful for VTubing, I suppose. I have really got to change the evenness there. These are tiny in comparison. I took an art class in the first year, was scary, and didn't know how to fully use a computer, so wasn't good at digital art until I got the internet to learn more information. Yeah, it's one of those things you have to keep repeating, right? You have to keep, regularly... You know, you can't just, pick it up instantly. I've been doing digital art for a very long time. Early versions of Photoshop in the beginning. The appeal of posting on Twitter is the immediate interaction with friends, but not the best platform to get your name out. Yeah, very... That's true, yeah. Social media, for artists is really tricky because we kind of don't really have anywhere to go, so to speak. There's not really any one platform that is friendly to artists. And it's been that way for a long time. DeviantArt used to be the #1 platform for artists, but because of what they did and a lot of people leaving because they didn't like the changes, it grew out of popularity really fast, but there wasn't really any good replacement for it. So artists have sort of been wandering aimlessly for a while now. And I'm not really sure what it's going to look like in the future, but I'm just gonna keep going. As we can, right? I definitely want to work on changing some of the intensity on these and having more contrast here. You know, I'll catch up with chat in just a sec. I just sort of want to fix where the hair is here. Get that bow in there real quick. Luckily, I don't have to paint the whole bow, so I can just sort of quickly throw that in. Wah! There we go, 10-second bow. Stuff that in real quick. I figure my family would be supportive of art school since I mentioned being super into drawing. Yeah. Very true. It was like, yeah, no, they are very much, and it's mainly like a, like I said, it's like a you can because I couldn't thing. So I feel very lucky in that regard. But it was also a matter of, whatever can pay the bills, so I didn't think that it would work out with illustration, but I was determined to make it work any way I could. So finding VTubing has been honestly one of the biggest blessings, I would say. Being able to find like-minded folks who really get it, and I want to expand that a lot. I have a lot of plans for the future to really emphasize things, really take things to a next level that I haven't really seen other people do yet. I don't know how it's really gonna go, but I have a lot of plans for the future of where I eventually want to see myself and how I want to be working on things. And a big part of it is being able to tell stories in a really, really meaningful way. Again, not really sure what that's going to look like, but I'm hoping that whatever I have planned will work out. Really trying to take things to another level. It's hard to balance all the socials, yeah, for sure. We're up to them. What style would I be pursuing? Oh, graphic design for grocery stores or law firms. You know, whatever is very stable. I'm not a big fan of graphic design. I admire other people who do graphic design, but I personally don't have enough of a passion for it. When I say law firms, I don't necessarily mean, like, literally law firms. I mean, like, you know, basic Times New Roman, layout, just, like, really, I don't know. Really, really dull stuff that everyone needs to get done, I suppose. And, I really did think that what I was going to do to try to keep up the illustration stuff was, going into... I really think I would be doing a lot with surface design, and that's actually how I started out VTubing, was with surface design, but, I learned that I have much more of a passion for really doing meaningful illustration, and like I was saying earlier, you know, surface design, you get a lot of really cute, fun things, which is still important in life, but I want to do things that have a little bit more emotion to them. So that's kind of where I am with things, and I wouldn't be able to do deep things like that if it wasn't for being able to draw other VTubers, you know? I wouldn't... I don't think I would have been able to do something like that Haunted Mansion piece. I wouldn't have even thought that I would be doing anything like that unless it was in children's books, but that's a whole other can of worms. One of the reasons that I like anime art styles so much is because there's more of a detail that other forms of art don't have. And when I say detail, I literally mean it, right? There's a lot of fine art that we're utilizing when we draw in anime styles. There's a lot of literal fine art techniques that we use. I miss old internet. Same here, Grendel. Thanks to VTubing, anime-style artists can certainly charge more and find more work than they could before. 100% on the finding more work part. Yeah, for sure. If it wasn't for VTubing, I would probably be attempting to try and sell my designs in like, I don't know, for like Hallmark or something. Which, you know, wouldn't be the worst, but most people can't even get into Hallmark. I mean, if you are in the surface industry, Hallmark would be like the cream of the crop, so I don't know. I don't really know what would have happened. I'll do crimes so that VTubing law firms can become a thing. It's funny because there's like a lot of guys in Niji Sanji who are like crime bosses. If we do a VTuber law firm, I want in. I know it's the most profitable, but I will not speak it. Yeah, no. No, we're never gonna go in that direction. Alright. We just gotta get the charm done on here, and then we gotta... There's so many little, tiny, silly, stupid things here that I might just do off-stream because they're... Because at this point, this isn't a speed paint anymore. Because I have failed in the speed paint part of this name. I will turn it into a speed paint, like a time-lapse speed paint, but... In speed paint by origin, we have failed. This is definitely not a speed paint anymore. Oh well. We tried, and I got too absorbed in the detail. Because time keeps going quicker than I think it will. And yeah, that's something that I'm going to just need to improve on. I could easily outdo the crimes Nishi Sanji guys commit if I wanted to. Oh boy. I don't think I've seen a lawyer VTuber yet with the popularity of Ace Attorney. I could see that as being a viable husbando. There you go. There you go, Grendel. You could be the... You could bring over all the lawyer husbandos to your side and corrupt them with your cuteness. Thank you for the save, Dolphin. When the speed paint becomes a nice stroll through the park paint. No. It's not, Roan, don't feel bad at all there. I really like talking to you guys, and I think it makes the stream much more interesting anyway, so I'm happy to. I just, I get too lost in what I'm doing, and I try to render the edges to be cleaner than they need to. Like, I think if we compared this one with the last one, I think I spent more time keeping the edges clean. And I've been trying to figure out what it is that I'm doing that is taking the time, and I feel like that is the most likely culprit, is keeping the edges clean. Because I just am still a stickler for really wanting to make things look good, and I want to try to find a better balance, I suppose, would be the best way to say it. I don't know, maybe next time we'll do, like, maybe next time I'll experiment on seeing, like, how fast I can go. If I just, you know, if I did something that was more emotionally driven and just really went wild on the paint strokes, not really worrying about if they connect. Am I posting these on Twitter with the relevant art tags? Yes, but I'm also trying to make sure that I have a speed paint ready to go for each one first. So, I haven't posted, like, Tokinosaurus yet because I still have to build a speed paint. And then I will use the tags, I promise. Yeah, I'm clearly getting way too caught up in the rendering detail. I think because it's like a corporate VTuber series that I'm trying to make, I'm like, I want them to all look good. I really don't know. I'm not sure if I know anymore. I'm also not sure which direction this rendering is going in, but we are just working through things here. This is... No, actually, I thought that would be too big. That's actually pretty accurate. Okay, that's fine then. And we'll go for like a softer, lighter white here. I'll edit the speed paints for you. I think the speed paints shouldn't take too long once I can get more into the groove, and also start using them as templates. If I can make a template with it, it'll probably work better. But I also want to make sure that I, like, get better at making speed paints in general, because as much as I was really happy with the piece I did for Sapphire, I am aware that the actual speed paint could have been better, which is why I'm trying to do my best to not turn the canvas. So I'm treating it as, like, you know, we just keep learning and improving type thing, but I also want to try to improve the actual quality. I was frustrated. I was trying to look on Reddit to see if there was anywhere I could learn about improving the quality of a speed paint. So I found a speed painting subreddit, and you would have thought that that would have been great, right? But they don't allow conversation. It's just to post the speed paints. Which, as we probably know from learning from a certain person, just throwing your work out there with literally no explanation is something that people aren't going to click on. So that was kind of a waste of time to find. It's just a gallery of speed paints, basically. It's not useful. Yeah. I'll probably make a tutorial on how I do them eventually, because I'm disturbed that people haven't. Like, if you wanted to learn how to make a speed paint, there's not really any good sources. I mean, there may be like 1 or 2 videos, but I'll probably make a video in the future about how I'm doing it. And eventually find a way to do it in a way that stands out. And I don't know what that looks like yet. I keep debating how or what to post for speed paints. Yeah, it's tricky. The other thing is I guess I'm trying to do it in a way that I'm not as used to, because I have a lot of my Clip Studio automatic speed paints saved in the same way that like Procreate can do it, but the quality is really low. So I'm trying to manually record each one, and it's not as intuitive for sure. Also not as clean, which is why I have to actually change how I paint if I do it that way, so that it doesn't look weird. But then if there's also not enough movement, then it's just boring looking. So it's like you can't win. Tutorials. I know, Grendel, I know. Grendel's gonna kill me over these one day, I swear. Grendel's actually just gonna, like, have enough at one point and like, brutally come after me. Honestly, I don't think I can blame them. I nag for your own good. I will brutally come after you regardless. Just wait till my streaming starts. Oh boy. Oh boy. That sounds scary. Alright. Is that sort of what her charm looks like, more or less? More or less here? Alright. That works well enough. It's the edges that throw me the most. But you know what? Now we get to paint a fish. And painting a fish is gonna be fun, because who doesn't like painting fish? I know I do. I want to paint a fish. Do I remember the name of the fish? I said it earlier in the stream and now I'm gonna mess it up. It's Taiyaki, right? It's Taiyaki. That's the right one, right? My enthusiasm feels off. I don't think I've ever heard that before. Guess what the prize is? I'm nervous to guess. I'm just gonna gleefully keep painting my fish. Oh god. I should have predicted that. I should have predicted it would be a redeem of some sort. Oy. Ay, ay, ay. I can't believe people are redeeming the redeems I put up to redeem. I know, but... Also, Rary, thank you so much. I hope you're doing well. I hope everything is going well with you today. Oh. Oh my goodness. Also, Sakura, hello there. Alright, we throwing the mask on for a bit? Sure, why not? And get to be mischievous little fox. I am living up to my kitsune name. Alright, fish. How are we gonna do this? I'm probably gonna have to make the fish a little darker later, but I'm going to add in a little bit of the fish highlight. not preparing for crimes. No, no, no. I'd love to make a model, but it's a bunch of work. Yeah, I understand that, but there's, you know, there's different versions and different ways to do that. Are you interested in VTubing, Rara? I don't know what this is, but I like the trying. Well, thank you, Pulver. I appreciate that. Also, I'm looking at your icon. Are you a, are you also a fox? It's a little hard to tell. It's a little bit hard to tell. You look like a canid of some sort, but I can't really tell. Yes, if you don't prepare for crimes, they go badly. Always prepare. Words of advice from Roan, everybody. Always prepare for your crimes. No, I am not committing any crimes. I just know people who would. I probably know too many who would. But I myself am not. This mask is honestly for my own protection. Not 2 foxes? We have all the foxes here. Also, there's already more than 2 foxes. This chat already contains multiple foxes. I really enjoy painting this fish. There's something very therapeutic about it. It's less because it's a fish and more because it's a food. I really, really like painting food. I don't know why. There's something very fun, especially if it's a pastry of sorts. I really like painting food. Food type stuff. For those of you guys who draw or paint, what is your favorite subject to draw or paint? Maybe it's not food. Maybe it's not fish. Frogs are superior. Mask is for witness protection program because you're friends with so many criminals. No, 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 no. Starlight and I are good law-abiding creatures. There you go. We do not hunt any foxes here. There will be no hunting in this forest. No, no, no. You fools, dolphins reign supreme. Oh, there's another dolphin in chat who I'm sure would agree with you. How many species are in here? Actually, we've got an entire zoo in chat. Mask off? Oh, did I miss the- oh, okay, sorry about that. Sorry, I think I saw it as a repeat, and it wasn't- yeah. Pupper wants a walk? Alright, Ron. Now the cops have passed. There was no danger here to begin with, I swear to you all. I would not put anyone in danger or at risk. Culver, I'm not sure if the icon will change in real time, but hopefully. Just letting you know in case I don't see a change. Also, I feel like I should throw this on here, real quick before I forget. If you haven't yet, I have a... It's not gonna work if I do it individually. Hang on. If you are an artist, or if you're someone who doesn't do art themselves, but just really enjoys art, I have an art-focused Discord server that you are all welcome to join. See if I can throw that in here real quick. Please work on YouTube. I know that you're not always as happy. YouTube is not... it's not my friend today, is it? Hang on. That should work. Does that work on the YouTube side, hopefully? Hopefully, anyways. But yeah, if you use Discord, even if you don't make art yourself, or, it's also a really good way to get, stream alerts. It worked. It liked you better than me. No, the stream elements didn't like it. I just, I manually threw it in. But yeah, if you want stream alerts, it's a great way to get notified when I'm going live. But if you also like posting your own stuff in there and hanging out with a bunch of wild, crazy creatures of all forms. And when I say all forms, I really do mean all forms at this point. All kinds of wild shenanigans, and some that live for nothing but the thrill of chaos. So I have noticed. All forms, even barely physical. Yes, exactly. I'm the rare magic forest robot. Somehow your technology doesn't get, like, thrown off in there, which is kind of strange. I don't process things like biological beings, so illusions and stuff don't work on me. Fair enough, I suppose. I don't know, I don't really qualify under the biological being side either. It's basically just an existence of illusion. Alright, how can I increase the intensity here? Adding a little bit more shadow to the fish. Here we go. What I mean is you can't trick my perception because I'm only capable of seeing the truth. It comes with a job. Okay, alright, fair enough. Fair enough. Wait, does that mean that I... Hang on a sec. If illusions don't work on you, that means that I would not win in a fight. At least not just with that. How to increase the intensity, change the soundtrack to a funk or nightcore playlist. I meant the visual contrast. You guys, I swear. I have so many OCs, it's concerning. Probably stronger still with ice magic and stuff. Depends on how many Vessas are around. Fair enough. Depends on how many Vessas go to Wendy's. And ignore the job. It's funny to me because, like, if that was the case, it would be like, different Vessas that act the same as, like, Ash's Charizard. You know what I mean? Like, refusing to battle. I can't believe you're calling out the Wendy's like that. No, I'm calling out people's desire for good food. I didn't say I could blame them. There we go. Alright, much more contrast here. Throwing on much more contrast. And also trying to not blend things, keeping things a little bit rougher, keeping things a little bit looser, a little more fun. What is my top 3 American fast food chain slash restaurants? Hard mode, no Cheesecake Factory? I don't think I know enough. Honestly. I'm pretty far from, like, anything, so I don't think I have enough variety to satisfy your question. Advertisement punk rock music. I wouldn't say the forest is, like, completely middle of nowhere, unless you're talking about, like, multiverse stuff. You can get places. It's not fully middle of nowhere, you know? I can walk to a village to get things I need. But we're kind of in between this, like, multiple villages and sort of, like... How do I explain it? Due to certain rules in various villages, they kind of don't want to work with each other. So you have to go even further out of the way to get to anything. So it's not fully middle of nowhere. There's still other things and people and creatures outside the forest, but it's harder to get general things than it should be for how it's set up. Now I'm even more confused. I can explain it to you later. It is a confusing setup. But essentially, like, alright, this is only gonna be confusing, but I don't care at the moment. The best way I can describe it is that if you need anything pretty, you can find things that are pretty. If you need anything practical, that's gonna take a bit more of a trek. I wouldn't necessarily say artsy, but... I mean... No, I wouldn't say artsy, but, definitely not, not as practical. More touristy, I would say. Alright, I think that's looking okay for our fish. I'll throw in some shadow here still. I watched a thriller show about rural Ohio recently and my mind goes there. That doesn't sound, super pleasant if you're saying it's a thriller. No, it would not be rural Ohio. Definitely not thriller focused, I would say. Alright, I think that should be good for the shadow here. I'm definitely going to still add the pattern here to the part of the shirt. But that's just a tiny little bit that's just pattern based, so I'll just do that off stream. And I think that with the hair, I just want to sort of see what I can do sort of to finish this off and make it a little bit more punchy. I want to make it a little bit more punchy, if that makes any sense. Oh, and I need to refine the bell. So I will refine the bell. At some point here. Everything seems to happen in Ohio. Creepy cult cornfields? No, what? Most beautiful place I've been to in the US was Laramie, Wyoming. Most Americans didn't get why I loved it, but it was peaceful and beautiful. That sounds really nice. Bell refinement, yes. Obviously it can't just end the way it is here, right? It's a little goofy. But I'm just gonna clean up the hairband a little bit, which I think actually needs to go closer here. I think it's actually not placed correctly. Also, hello, Sihiro! That sounds very exciting. Don't throw any spoilers in the chat, but did you like it? Was it good? I don't know much about One Piece, but, I'm glad you got to see it. Probably need to break up this hair so it actually makes sense why it's like this. With the hairband, I mean. I think so far I've been doing an okay job at not turning the canvas. I'm gonna see if I can keep that up for the rest here. I'm gonna try to get used to not turning my canvas if possible. Just try to get a better habit of it. Tell me what the oh, sorry, it was, I don't... The title just said Flap 2. It just said Flap 2. I'm not really sure how to explain it other than that. So, if you want, I can send it to you later. Yeah, just with the number. I can send it to you later if you'd like. Funny thing is I was supposed to watch the English dub version, but it turned out English sub. I wanted to hear, Monarch. Oh! Oh, because it was subbed. Oh, I'm sorry, Sihiro. I'm glad that it was still good, though. I think that's the important part, right? I'm glad it was still good. Alright, figuring out a little bit here with the hair shadow and Hoge and everything. There we go. I'm back when I'm just gonna continue art, but pups flopped backwards for tummy rubs, so this is my fate now. I am now a thing. I cannot... I see large ears, and that is... I think I see large ears in water, and that is all I can make out. Yeah, Vessa, no worries. I'll just send it over. Just, remind me in case I forget, okay? Alright. More intensity on the light. Because I also need to add a hair highlight here anyway that goes a little further across, because I haven't done that yet either. Sort of the halo of highlight that we see. And I'll change the color too. But I just want to add a little bit more here. Here we go. Maybe shift that over a little bit if I need to. And see if I can... Oh! Try to make it a little less intense without throwing it off completely. There we go. Something a little softer. And let's see if this will work. See if I can use some nice glow effects, maybe something a little warmer. There we go. And then, there we go. I need some more glow on the hair here because I want it to be much brighter. I really want to emphasize the difference between the light and the dark. And I might soften it a little bit more just to make sure it's not super intense. Might airbrush that a little, soften it up, but I really want that warmth feeling that I think we weren't getting before, right? I really want to push that warmth. Here as well on the face, a little bit on the knuckles or the hands. I don't want to be too crazy with it, but, you know, just enough that it gets that feeling down. I think I'll use an eraser and just sort of slightly erase it at the edge. And then go back with an eraser and add it in on this side. Again, really just getting that warmth here. And then I might experiment changing around the color a little bit. Seeing if we... Yeah, I think the yellow probably works the best. And I don't want it to be too harsh, but something like that I think will be good. Thank you for the save, Dolphin. I appreciate that. Pulver, I'm not really sure, but if you could keep things fairly lighthearted, I would really appreciate that. Alright, we'll try to get another layer here. I don't know why that wasn't working before. Thank you, I do appreciate that. I try to run things as a fairly lighthearted, family-friendly type stream, so I appreciate your help in keeping it that way. And I think I will sort of cut this down a little bit and drag the edges here. Have I ever animated before? I was actually saying earlier in the stream that I thought I wanted to be an animator, but actually realized how much I didn't like it once I had to start doing it. But I've done a little bit here and there with puppeting. I've used puppeting tools before. I'm just not a frame-by-frame type person. Although, I would do frame-by-frame for little things. Little moments, I think, would be cute. Would be fun. I have not figured out the hair highlight thing yet. It's deceivingly... It looks like it shouldn't be as tricky as it is. At least for me, anyway. Yeah, I want to eventually do, like, you know, little fun 3-second things. And I actually did take a course in creating animatics. So I have done that kind of thing before. Story beats and all that. But the actual frame-by-frame is the stuff that just exhausts me. I admire people who bother with that kind of thing. I have a lot of patience for a lot of different art mediums, but frame-by-frame, for some reason, is just one I can't hold on to. Did I just see a drawing of an MLP changeling in the background? You did, you did. Yes, indeed. I have done lots of different things on commission, let's say. That was actually a very fun piece. It's actually, a cropped version of a much larger painting. That was fun. I enjoyed doing that one. Alright. I'm gonna make sure the face is still all clean here, and I think I lost some of the glow and highlight that I wanted to keep on the very edge. Why is this not being as strong as it was before? That's strange. Alright, that's fine. I can deal with that. No matter. I can keep going. Have I ever gotten a commission I didn't enjoy drawing? Ooh. That's a spicier type question. Have I ever gotten a commission I didn't enjoy drawing? I think I learn from pretty much every commission I've gotten. I think I've had times where I eventually enjoy what I have created, but there are times where I've definitely been frustrated by commissions. Why is there an orange fox and why can I see through his shirt? I'm not really sure what you're referring to here. Another 3 hour... I'm spending way too much time on this, aren't I? It wasn't supposed to be this way, and it has turned out into that, and I don't know why. Yikes. I've got to get better at this. Yeah, let's just go a little bit longer, and I'll fix the bell up. And then I will pretty much call this complete for the most part. And then I've gotta move up. Gotta move on to the next ones. Gotta figure out who is next on the roster. I might move over to gamers. I might move over to Hololive Gamers after this one. I'm not entirely sure yet. Either Corone or Mio I think I want to draw all the gamers. I feel like I still could have pushed this, intensity more, though. I think I need to work on contrast. I really do. I'm not the best when it comes to pushing contrast, because I get very tied into the detail before I've pushed the contrast to the level it should be, and that's probably not something that you should do. You should probably really push the contrast and then start working on the detail, and it's like, you know, it's an order thing, and I'm just not painting in the right order. Six-hour speed paint? Yeah. Look, I mean, that's still a speed paint, by a lot of definition for me, because most commissioned paintings I've done are closer to like 10-20 hours, and then the larger pieces get more in the 40-50 range. So 6 is like a normal speed for other people, but fast for me. But if I need to, I can do a 2-hour piece. I just haven't limited myself into doing a 2-hour piece, but I could if I had to. I mean, look, you guys know that I can do like 10-minute pieces sometimes, so there's all different levels to things. I just get lost in the process that I'm working in, and then I don't know exactly how long each piece is taking. You guys know that I can work faster if I'm forced to. I'm just sort of, like, in the zone with these. If I have to do something where I do have to speed it up, I will have a lot less refinement. But it'll get done. My biggest problem right now as an artist is I need to figure out my balance between time and rendering. And that's part of the reason why I do want to do more of the speed paints and Bakadoodles, is because that is something where I am not super tied on how accurate or how clean it is. I just have fun, and I use that fun to tell a story, and the storytelling is the most important part. I think I also have a little bit of a more complicated scenario for Miko than I did for Sora last time. He's wearing purple trousers and it looks like he's from a TikTok video. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that is one of my old paintings. That painting, I know what you're talking about. You're talking about the beach picture with the lemonade, right? That is the first painting that I did on a stream. And that was done at a online furry convention. That was the painting where I was like, I want to do a redraw of an old design. And that was the first time that I did anything on stream since I used, like, livestream.com, which is dead now. That was my first time using, I think that was on Twitch, I want to say. Or maybe it was YouTube, I can't really remember. It's, gamers, it's good to do art to support that specific group. No, Krental, that's not what I mean. Any plans to draw Hagos Bells down the road? Maybe. What happened if I used a countdown timer? I could. Hello, Mr. Pudidi. What year is this? By most standards or by your standards? I think that's gonna give us a very different answer. Yes. Hang on, I need to add quick shading for the fish. The fish doesn't have shading. It's just sort of floating in space, and that's not right. I mean, it actually wouldn't have that much. It's probably very minimal, but let me at least throw something on here just to check it out. Just to make it feel like it's slightly based in reality, more or less. Probably less. That is super subtle. I don't even know if that was worth it. Probably not even worth it. Oh well. I'll go back another year and ask there. I'd like to see, Callie next. I don't know when I'm going to get around to Myth, but I really, really want to paint Myth. I feel like I need to improve more before I'm gonna tackle Myth. I'm kind of intimidated, but in a good way, I guess. I don't know. I really want to do well for Myth, so I'm like, I want to improve a little bit more. I think people in the Discord should have a vote on who I would draw from Hololive next. Actually, the vote would probably be more for the Ko-fi members, but I also still feel like I need to refine the Ko-fi a bit to make it a little more, to sort of bring it to a standard that I think is more beneficial to more people. My Ko-fi has been a little too experimental for my liking, but I know that I have told people that polls were a thing, so I want to emphasize that more. Yeah, I sort of need to rearrange things in my head about how I want to work that going forward so that it's more beneficial and more rewarding for the members. Which is my favorite of the Myth Girls? I'd say Callie. Yeah, I would say Callie. That surprised me. I was expecting Ina. I really look up to Ina on an art level for sure. Ina's extremely talented, but I don't think I know enough about her at the moment. To me, it's Gura for personality kinship reasons. Watch out, Vesa might kidnap you. Murdoch, are you still here? Jeez. Hang on one sec here. Blah, 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 blah. Give me 1 second. I don't know how to... Jeez. I need to understand this more. Yeah. Wow. So much for a useful screen, I suppose. Alright. Oh, whatever. What? John, in the future, please just, sort of don't mention that on streams if that is okay. I just don't wanna... I understand that it's probably decently known stuff right now, but I just want to sort of, like, not get into all that. But wow, I need to figure out how my own Twitch works. Mention other streams. I'm okay with it if we're talking about different people regarding the discussion, or if I'm asking. But yeah, like if I'm talking about Hololive people, you can talk about Hololive people, but keep it on whatever discussion we have, I suppose. Keep it relevant to the discussion. I like Cornet. I really want to paint her at some point soon. I really want to paint the gamers. Twitch is an eldritch thing of madness and chaos. Well, no wonder some people like it so much. It's way more confusing than I think it needs to be. I honestly think that, like, most functions are further complicated than they need to be. Alright, let's finish up this bell here. Let's clean up this bell. Let's get that all figured out. No, I don't want to join Holomyth. I think that they are very fitting just as they are with the 5. I finally got the gates drawn after 5 iterations of how I wanted them. Congrats, Roan. I don't know why you're painting gates, but it sounds good. It sounds like a good thing. I'm happy for you regardless. Alright, is this starting to look more like a 3D bell instead of just a flat sticker? I hope so. What is my favorite, kind or genre of game to see a gamer YouTuber play? I don't, I mean, I mainly would, listen to, like, just chatting things, so I don't really have any input on that, I suppose. I mean, I know most gamers, most VTubers play games, but I don't know, that's not really the part that I'm as entertained by, personally. like I said before, like I really admire a lot of different designs of a lot of corporate VTubers, but I don't have all the time to watch them. Although, actually, I think what I really like watching from VTubers is when they don't do specific like created games, but do like game show type stuff, or stuff that's like a little bit more inventive with them. Like I was watching recently with the Tempest boys and with a few of the Hololive girls. They were doing a game called Werewolf. I think I mentioned this last stream. And it's like it's not a video game per se. It's like a whodunit discussion type game. And it's really interesting because I feel like you see a lot more people's personality in that. To me, that's just a lot more engaging. And it's a lot more fun. You get to see like how different people handle those kind of situations. And I also saw the, I think it was also Tempest. I saw them doing like a Dungeons & Dragons campaign. I don't know, that kind of stuff is fun to me. When you get to individually see a little bit more from each member. I really like seeing when each member can do something that is very personally passionate to them. Like in Tempest, Magni Desmond was doing got to do like a Sonic cover, and it just exuded happiness. It was just like everything you could tell that he had wanted to do. Like that kind of thing is what I like seeing, when it's just purely like the dream of a talent. So glad I have the base design done. I'm drawing gates for Lady Red next year. I hope to visual novel theming for video intros. Ooh, that sounds exciting. I'm wondering how that's gonna go. It sounds interesting for sure. You know what I find the least fun? VTubers are collabing in a multiplayer game and just talk to each other about the game, ignoring the audience. I mean, I think it depends. I think like if you're corporate, then it sort of makes sense that you don't really have much of a chance to engage with the audience anyway. So like entertaining with each other is sort of what you already do. If you're indie, I would say it's a little bit harder, but I guess you would just sort of have to set boundaries of what your kind of situation is. Again, I don't really have too much experience. I think that if I did a collab with people, for example, like if it was just a drawing collab, I think that I would not be paying as much attention to chat, because it wouldn't really be fair for the person that I'm collabing with. That's just sort of my take on it. I think it would probably end up being a different situation than a typical stream. I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell. I think you'd have to set expectations. I mean, like, if you're interviewing somebody, for example, I think you would be paying less attention to chat and more on the interviewee. I don't know. It'd be interesting to think about, though. I personally like talking to you guys. I personally like working while chit-chatting with you guys. But if I did art collab stuff, I don't know if I would, I don't really know how that would work yet. If I'm being honest, I don't really know how I would handle it. Here we go. Should be good on the bell. Is that a little too distracting? I think that might be a little too much. A little too much from our main protagonist here. Alright. I still have to work on fixing the patterns and everything on the lower end, but here's what I think we're gonna do just to sort of experiment with how this would look. Merge to new layer. Save this just in case. Sort of change the contrast a little bit. Not that way. Sort of change the... probably the levels. Make things a little bit deeper, but less saturated. Oh, I actually needed that. And then change the saturation slightly. That's not like neon, but also not crazy. Yeah. I think that's the direction it's going to be in. So I'm just gonna work on a few little bits of the pattern off stream, just because there's like quick things to do, and then see if I need to intensify any of the shadows here. But I think for the most part, this is pretty much done. I definitely want to work on my speed for this, but this one's definitely more refined than our previous one. I would definitely say this has a different level of refinement. So, I don't know. Maybe with the next one, I'll work on not letting myself have as much time to fool around. Corporate ones tend to talk about themselves in stories when they talk to each other. Even gaming, smaller VTubers focus too much on the game as if they had no audience. Very true, Grendel. There's also different types of viewers. There's some things where I feel like breaking the atmosphere you're developing to address the chat all the time doesn't help. That's true, yeah. That's the joy of the net. All sorts of creators and all sorts of ways to do things. There you go, yeah, that's very true. It'd be hard to keep the chatting going when you have 900 average viewers. In 2020, yeah, no, definitely not anytime within the next decade, I'm sure. But, that's the thing that we learn a lot from, VTuber Senpai, right? Is you start off not having anybody in your audience, and you learn to talk to yourself, and then you have an audience, and then you can, talk with them, and then you get to the point where you can't keep up with the chat, and then you have to learn to talk to yourself again. So, I don't see myself getting in that situation anytime soon at all, in the slightest, so I don't think that's anything anyone has to worry about. And what I really enjoy is talking to you guys. But I know that that's what happens to, like, people who can, you know, grow really fast and, need to follow that kind of thing. I'm here to have fun and work on art and, you know, try to get it to a sustainable point. And I'm hoping that, you know, doing art of characters that people really like, and that I really like, is just sort of going to help get the name out a bit more, you know? Senpai's right about it. I started with 0 viewers, now I have like 2 or 3 returning, coming to the stream almost every time. Yeah, you learn to change things up as you go, right? I definitely was not the same streamer that I was in the beginning, and I've only done this for a year. I'm considered a very new streamer by most people's standards. But yeah, I mean, I've seen people talk about that the confidence has changed and all that stuff. So as you keep streaming, things change and evolve and expand, and it's interesting to see how that happens. Most VTubers don't last a year. I'm proud of you. Well, you know, Vessa, as I think you might have seen me mention before, I don't think that I would have continued if I really hadn't been pushed. I think that there's a lot of things in my life where determination, not determination, I keep using the wrong word. Where I think discipline really, really helps. I think that discipline is a huge thing, for me especially, where you kind of need someone to push you to do something. This is gonna sound really corny. I think sometimes, and I understand that not everybody has this, so, you know, in that case I'm extremely grateful. I think that there's sometimes where you need situations where people push you, who believe in you more than you do in yourself. Even if it's just, you know, generic things that apply to multiple people, I think that you need to have that sense of not giving up because, you know, there's people who say, like, no, you can keep going forward with this, you don't want to quit now. And, you know, going back to the art school thing, I think that was a huge part of it. I think that a lot of it was, like, a situation of, like, a now or never, like, you have to get this done, you have to do this, you don't have a choice. And it pushes you further to do things that you didn't think that you could do, that you would have given up on. I didn't say this at the time, but one of the projects that we had to do for art school was to learn to carve wood, and I had to carve a wooden pistol, and I did not think that I would be able to do that. And then there was one project that I almost did give up on, where we had to learn riveting, and I just straight up didn't think I had the physical strength for that. So, you know, if you have things where you have someone telling you to just keep going with things and see what happens and just experiment and try new stuff, then you sort of get in a sense of, like, not wanting to quit until you've at least attempted it. And that can be what keeps you going. And I know that it's, you know, I know that there's different cases for everybody. I know that's not the case, and everyone's situation is different, but I think the discipline is really what's changed a lot for me. Honestly. Sorry, that kind of got weirdly melancholic in a way. But thank you, Ronan. Thank you, Krendel. I really, really appreciate that. And thank you, Vessa. I want to keep going further with things. I have many plans to evolve things and take it to different levels that is going to be, personally satisfying for me in a way that goes beyond just what I'm drawing. I want to do things that are... I don't even think satisfying is the right word, but I don't know what the right word is. Personally fulfilling, I suppose. But I'm really excited that, you know, a lot of you are here to sort of join me in this journey, and it really, really means a lot, and I hope that you'll continue sticking around for a bit. It means a ton. But, anyway, with all that said and done, definitely consider joining the Discord if you haven't yet. I'll throw that link up one more time, just in case. And, yeah, the next stream that we're going to be doing is... today is Saturday, so our next stream is going to be Tuesday. I think we're going to be starting a new painting with a new girl. I'm not sure who it's going to be. I might jump into Hololive Gamers. I might still work with someone on in Gen Zero. I'm not really sure. Might switch it up. We will see. but there should be the Discord link for people if you are interested in joining. And with that, I hope that you all have a fantastic rest of your day, evening, or night, stargazers, and all the best.